to the OMG Hour.
Welcome, everybody, to episode number 286 of the OMG Hour, recording today on February 22nd, 2018. Of course, I am your host, Sean Evans, otherwise known as Zion Tane.
And I'm Jeff.
Hello,
Man, I
Jeff.
always say that. I always say, and I'm Jeff. Did
You-
you? Okay,
you're-
wait.
well,
Let's let
because
the other guy introduce. I have something
Yes.
to say, but I'm gonna let.
I have something to say too. So I'm Tico, Mr.
Hi.
Second Place here, and I was going to say happy birthday, Sean.
Oh, well, thank you very much. Yes.
Oh, is it your birthday?
It's his
Today,
actual birthday.
today
It's
is
his
my
75th birthday, everybody.
75,
So-
that's right.
So
Minus, I don't know how many years, so we'll go with that.
Like 8.
8, at least 8.
47, my friends. 47.
So we're episode 286. You said, right? Is that
yes,
true?
that is
That
true.
is true.
That's amazing. Did you know? Fun fact. I know how Sean, you always love to line up the numbers.
I love coincidences with numbers.
First computer that I ever bought myself was an 80286.
286, nice.
That was the first. I had my dad had owned computers previous to that, and I had used computers previous to that. But the first one that I actually was mine was a 286 with 512K.
Yes.
Wow.
Of memory.
I know
Powerful
listeners of this
machine.
show can appreciate that.
Especially
just how-
Sid Bolton. Sid Bolton's on the line
Yeah.
right now. Hello, Sid. And
Hey, Sid.
I'm sure Sid's got a 286 in his museum.
Probably it was
Might have
blazing
Jeff's.
fast.
Might have Jeff's 286 in his museum.
Unlikely. I don't know what happened to that 286 of mine, actually.
My first
Jeez.
computer that I bought with my own money was a 486, one of those, and it was, I think, one of the first quad processors. Is that right? I can't remember. 486 D4 or something like that. I can't remember. But it was, or
Still single core
DX4.
back in those days.
DX4 maybe?
DX4, still single core. Yeah.
Yeah.
46 DX. Yeah, DX2, DX4. I think.
Yeah, I think it was
that's so long ago. Oh
I
my God.
know. Sid, tell me, what is it? 486 DX4? Is that correct? He'll tell us online here. He's watching us. So anyway, gentlemen, welcome back. You guys feeling good? You guys were kind of under the weather. Tico
Way
almost
better.
died last week.
I did actually die 3 times. 3 times. It was that bad. And no, I felt honestly like death for a good solid week. I feel fantastic in comparison now.
Good.
So I'm
Good.
I'm glad that I made it through.
Well, so you are now zombie Tico?
Yeah.
Jeff's favorite kind of Tico?
I'm shaking my head for the audio listeners.
So
Yeah, no, I'm feeling okay. I'm
Good.
feeling okay. It's been a really stressful week at work. Lots and lots and lots of stuff going on, but health-wise, everything's back to normal.
Excellent.
Not that we missed much last week.
No,
It's not like
No.
it's not like the backlog of things to talk about is growing.
No, that is for sure. But we do have some games to talk about first.
Yes.
And Jeff, you actually have a list of games.
I do. I sat down. I did some things.
Wow.
So, so every week, I don't play a lot of stuff lately, but I like to go into the store every Tuesday on the PlayStation Store and see what's new, and check stuff out. I did that this week, but actually, what inspired this was I learned that the release date for Bravo Team on PSVR is looming. It's really, really soon.
It's
I think
March something. isn't
March,
it?
early
Yeah.
March.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I went in to go check out the PSVR catalog on that a couple days ago, and actually this was last week, and there was a game there called Rec Room VR.
I've had that on my PS4 for a month or two now.
Yes, sir. It's been out for a while.
Yeah.
It has. It's not new by any stretch of the imagination. It's a free-to-play game. Oliver was actually the one to go in first, and I watched him play it for a little bit, and I saw he was playing laser tag and all this kind of stuff. I was like, oh, VR laser tag. That could be really fun. So I went in. I redid the tutorial. It put me one-on-one. I had to play this girl in essentially Pong, and I did that, and then I got to do whatever I want. So I'm like, well, I want to go try laser tag. So I go into laser tag in VR. I get my gun, and I'm like, let's go play some stuff. And I played literally the worst first-person shooter I have ever played in my life. I have said this before, but trying to play a game where you're in an arena, going around, shooting other players while teleporting.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Is one of the worst things that I have ever tried to do. It was just brutal. And not only that, these arenas were very large, and trying to find people was very hard, and like not being able to like move and like get behind cover. Like I played it standing up, so I could duck behind cover, but at the same time you get really turned around trying to teleport and then turn towards people, and then if you turn too far then it loses tracking and blah 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 blah. And the guns weren't very fun to use, and it was just like kind of weird. The only cool thing was reloading. You actually, because it's played with the move controllers, so you're shooting with one hand, and then when you want to reload, you actually have to use your other hand and like pull back
like a real gun.
Nice. Like a real. Well, I mean, it was kind of, you have to cock the gun basically to reload it.
Yeah.
But I was shooting people. I couldn't tell if they were dying or not. I'm like, I've shot them like 15 times. This isn't like traditional laser tag. I don't know what's going on. The feedback was not really great. Oh gosh! But I mean,
teleport movement in VR. It's like I said the same thing about raw data, which on HTC Vive was a great shooter. But when you have to move around the arena with point and click movement while trying to shoot at the same time you're being shot at, you just can't do that.
No, it's really hard. And turning is pressing buttons, which is like the snap turning, and I was like, oh man, I can't do this. This is way too. You're spending so much time thinking about the controls.
Yes.
That you're not really having a good time playing the game, and the guns don't feel good. So
it doesn't look good either.
Well, I mean, that's the one thing about VR games, right?
Looks like
when you're
Tron.
watching pre-recorded video,
It does, yeah.
When you're watching pre-recorded video, it never looks as good as when you're actually inside of it. Now, this game does not look great, but when you're inside of it, it's definitely serviceable. Like the graphics, I didn't find to be a deterrent while I was playing it. And I think the other interesting thing to note is that this game is totally cross-platform play, so you can play against PC players and this kind of stuff. I don't know how it balances the different controls and stuff, but wow, I will definitely come back to this. I like the idea of laser tag, and this might be really fun if they fix the guns so they were more fun to use, and after Sony eventually, please releases proper move controllers with thumbsticks, which we've talked about 1,000 times. We don't need to talk about it again, but oh my gosh, do we ever really need those? So that experience was marred. It was fun playing multiplayer with other players in a laser tag environment, but it was marred by really bad controls. So there's also co-op game modes. There was 2 co-op game modes. One where it's a fantasy setting, and then one where it is future setting, like exactly what we're seeing on the screen right now in this like laser tag environment. So I went into the fantasy one first because I'm like, yeah, wizards and knights and archers and stuff like that. That's going to be fun. And then while I was waiting I couldn't even get the game to start because people in there were team killing right off the bat. And
What do you mean by team killing?
Friendly fire.
Oh gosh.
Friendly fire is enabled by default.
Oh.
So I couldn't even start the round. I went in and I got team killed, and I was like, "What is going on here? Everybody's just team killing. Nobody can get to the platform because somebody's just griefing." And I was like, "Fine. You know what? Screw that. I'm gonna go to the future set one." So I go to the future set one. There's a bunch of guns. Everybody starts. You got to pick up a gun. Pick a gun. Which was hard because one guy was hoarding 2 guns, because that's another thing you can do.
Oh, gosh.
And then, everybody has to stand on a platform to start. So we got that one to start. We played the level. We got to the end of the first level. You have to get to a platform. A little kid, I could tell he was little because you could hear his voice because Team Chat's enabled by default, gets to the platform, turns around, team kills everybody, and starts saying, like, you guys have to leave. I want your guns. And basically, everybody just dropped and let this kid, except for me, because I was dead, and I was like, screw you, kid. I took off my headset, I put it down, and then I left him there for about 20 minutes until it timed out and kicked me out of the map. And he was, I don't know, he was like shaking his fists at me and yelling at me, I guess. I don't know. I turned off my audio so I couldn't hear him.
You griefed the griefer.
I griefed griefers. Screw you,
nice.
kid.
Nicely
I'm like,
done.
I don't need that. I'm done. I'm just going to sit there. So overall, there's a lot of stuff about this game that I didn't really talk about like customization, and you get prize tickets and you unlock customizations, and like there's some really good ideas combined with some really poor decisions that make the experience not really fun and way too easy for griefers to grieve. I think the game has potential once Sony releases proper controllers, and if they fix some of the balancing and get rid of the ability to grieve, because I have absolutely no interest in being team killed by a bunch of kids.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So am I going to play this again? Not anytime soon. But I will go back when better controllers come out, for sure.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
What else did you play?
Oh, and then I played, because I was in VR, I'm like, you know what? I've never been able to beat that spider boss in, what was that game called? My computer just went to sleep. Farpoint. So I went into Farpoint, thank you, Farpoint VR, which is the aim controller game, because I felt like I bought this aim controller. I haven't had anything to do with it yet. I was excited about the potential to play Bravo Team in a few weeks.
Yes.
And I was like, I got in the game, I was like, oh yeah, this is so much better, and you're moving around, and you can aim, and you can duck, and you can walk. And it's like infinitely better gameplay experience. And then that freaking spider boss killed me 3 times, and I just ejected the disc and said, I'm never playing this again. I still can't beat this freaking thing. And I was really, it's a really long encounter. And to be fair, I guess if I went on YouTube and watched some tutorials and blah, 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 blah. But, that game has got really good controls marred by, like, boring gameplay, boring encounters, and apparently it starts to get better later on. But I've been stuck on that boss. I've gone back to it a few times now. Yeah. Well, apparently it changes, and then after the bugs, I guess it's a spoiler warning if you don't want to hear what happens in Colony or Farpoint VR. But after you beat that spider boss, then instead of fighting freaking spiders all the time, you're fighting aliens.
Oh.
And the aliens are actually have guns and stuff like that. And
see, that spider boss is where I'm stuck too.
Yeah, I just can't beat it. And I mean, I'm not a noob gamer.
No, it's just because the problem is it's swarming you with every creature it's shown you so far.
Yeah,
right? And each really one takes everyone takes like multiple different styles of fighting. Some take grenades, some take weapons, and then you start running out of ammo.
Yeah,
it's like
once you run out of the rockets, then I don't even know what you're supposed to do.
And that's my point. Is there are so many enemies in that arena. I'm going to call it an arena, where the boss is. That
it is an arena. Yeah,
I feel like it's almost impossible, just the sheer number of enemies it's throwing at you.
Yeah.
Versus the amount of ammo you have.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. So I was done with that too. I'm still waiting for a really great VR game. I thought about like, hey, maybe I'll try Doom. Apparently Doom is pretty good. They've patched it a bunch of times and it's pretty good now. And I was like, yeah, we'll see. But I think I'm just going to wait for Farpoint. Or not Farpoint, Bravo Team.
Skyrim VR is on sale.
Yeah, I saw that, but I'm not playing that game with freaking the Move controllers that we have today. There's no way I'm teleporting around.
I know. I hear you.
But I appreciate that it's on sale, but it's going to go on sale again because it's Bethesda.
And it will get cheaper and cheaper and cheaper.
Yep. So, barring all these VR games, I have actually spent a fair amount of time over the last 2 weeks playing a game called Path of Exile on PC, which unfortunately I don't have video for because my computer is downsampling it because I'm playing it on the laptop and it looks terrible. But when I get my new computer, I will capture video of it for sure. It was funny because I went to go restart Witcher 3, and I started Witcher 3, and I was like, oh man, I'm starting to get into this. I better stop playing because in a few weeks, I'm going to build my brand new gaming PC, and I want to play Witcher 3 on a gaming PC because I want the frame rate to be better and all this kind of stuff. I was like, I'm just going to play it there. So then I went to the store and I noticed, hey, it's Path of Exile. I saw that on Steam. Let me try that. Started playing it on Xbox One. I'm like, hey, this is pretty good. Actually, and it runs at 60 frames a second on my OG Xbox, which is really nice.
Wow.
I was like, I'm going to go play that on, I'm going to go try that on PC. So I went on PC and it played even better. It is essentially, and I think I've talked about it on the show before, and I didn't like it, but I tried it again, and now I really like it. It's essentially Diablo 2 in like an MMO type environment, where in the towns it's all populated with other players, but when you go into the world, it's just you and your party. And it's Diablo. It's so Diablo 2. Like,
Yeah.
It's got the skill gems. You don't unlock skills. You find skills. You get skills from rewards. You buy skills. Then you get these little gems that you have to socket into your gear, and then you can put mutators on them to make them do different stuff. And it's really filling that void that Marvel Heroes Death sort of left open for.
Well, that's good. That's good.
Really great experience. I've really been enjoying that. So
Awesome.
and that's about it.
Cool.
That's me.
Well, I got a couple of games I want to review here, and then Chico and I have some games that we've both played that we'll talk about. So first, I'm going to jump down to a little game. It's by an indie developer. I believe it's like one developer, and it's out on Xbox One and PS4 now, and it's called Tiles. It is a very simple little puzzle game in which you start at a green block. You have to navigate your way through the blue blocks and finish at the red. And when you step on the blue blocks, they fall away. So they're like falling platforms.
Or tiles.
Falling tiles. Yes, right. And then there's different color tiles. So purple tiles, for example, don't fall away at all. White tiles turn blue when you step on them and then fall away when you step on them again. Which it took me a while to figure that out. None of it's explained. You kind of have to figure it out by trial and error. You know, it's like the first time I encountered the white or the light blue tiles, I didn't know what I was doing until I figured, oh, you have to go over them twice.
Yeah.
And the object is to basically make all the blue blocks fall and then reach the red. And there's not in the game itself, there are 90 puzzles, 90 levels to finish, and then you can also create your own levels and share them with the world, and you can download other people's puzzles and download them as well. So it is an interesting puzzle game. To be completely honest, I think it would, I don't know how you'd play it on a phone, to be honest with you, but it feels more like a portable game than a console game. It's a simple idea, but some of the puzzles do get really difficult. You really need to think about, how do I get through this? Especially in level 6, which I believe is about to come up on screen. No, the next one. Number 7.
No, I finished 6. I think it's 7 that I'm stuck on.
So you've played it as well?
I actually picked this up on the Xbox today as well.
Well,
and
it's cheap. It's $4. I think it's $3.99. It's not an expensive game, to be honest with you. It's really cheap, and it's one developer, one guy created this. So, but yeah, level 7 was quite tricky because it's this sort of like, it's like a square with two. Like imagine a double figure 8 together.
Yeah.
And you have to get through this while everything drops away. It's like, well, how do I get through a shape like that?
And then you have to end up back on the other end, so you can end on the stop sign.
Yeah. So this is the one you're looking at on screen right now. For those of you watching, honestly, it's like I don't know.
Yeah, you're screwed on that try already.
Yeah, no, I was screwed on this try. Listen, it's for $4. This is definitely a game. If you love puzzles, you just love that kind of puzzle, it's definitely worth picking up. This game, I think, honestly, would be a better game for like maybe the Switch. Something to take with you, where you have time. Like, say you're on a bus or you're out and about and you just want to do a couple of puzzles. You know, I don't see, personally, this kind of game as something I want to sit down in my living room and play. Yeah. I want to play a game like this on the go. But for $4, this is definitely worth picking up if you love this kind of cerebral thinking puzzle game. Yeah, it's good. I like it. Chico, do you have anything to add?
I enjoy it as well. It's a fun little thing. Yeah, I can see maybe like on a phone or an iPad or something like that with directional controls or something like that attached to it would be a fun thing to do.
Something that's a little more portable. It just feels like a portable game.
Yeah, this feels like a toilet game. You sit down. You need to kill about 5-10 minutes, whatever. This is a sort of thing that you play for then, and you just don't think about it until then.
Yeah. That's that box quote right there. This is a toilet game.
There you go.
The next game I played is a game called Past Cure. Oh, I don't know what to think of this game. I played this game for well over an hour. It's rather, like, visually it's a little boring. And I'm really not sure what it's about, other than this character was sick for a while. He's now back, but he's having these weird dreams. Every time he goes to sleep, he has these bizarre dreams, and you live out the dreams, like really bizarre. He has these kinetic abilities, so he can do like what's astral projection. So in his dreams, he can astral project. I think he can do it out in the real world as well. I haven't got far enough in it that he's left his house yet, because honestly, the game starts out like this huge, long tutorial, and after like an hour, I still feel like it was trying to explain things to me. And I was like, just get on with it already, you know? And I was honestly just bored with everything in this game. There was nothing interesting to me.
It's not a cheap game either. This is I think a $40 Canadian title.
It's not a bar. Well, I guess you could call that a bargain title.
I don't know, but not for something that you know the way it looks. I don't think I would call that a bargain title. I think this is one of those overpriced bargain titles.
Yeah, I honestly don't know what to think of Past Cure. I have no desire to go back to it after playing it for well over an hour. Going through the dream sequences felt really long and really, really repetitive. Like it's just the same thing over and over again.
I should get some sleep.
And even the instructions are like, go to bed. Okay, now find your way out of this maze. Like it's just like, go do this, go do that.
So is it a puzzle?
The dream sequences seem to be puzzles. And from what I can detect later on, there's going to be stealth mechanics. He can slow down time. He can astral project. Like he's got these abilities, but I don't feel like they're implemented very well to be exciting. Like a stealth game where you can slow down time sounds kind of cool, right? Mm-hmm. But when I'm doing it, even in the tutorial areas or in the section, it's still trying to tell a story. The nice thing about the tutorial is it's still telling the story as you're learning what he can do.
Lucky there are shadows here.
Which is good. It's still, you feel like it's moving along, but it went on and on and on. It's like, okay, I get it. I get what you can do. Now get on with it.
Yeah.
But honestly, it got to the point where it's like, I'm done. I don't care where the story is going anymore. It's just boring. I don't get it. So it's called Past Cure. It's available now. I think Tico, you said it's about $40.
Yeah.
But it's not a great looking game. It's very plain looking, I'm going to say, you know. And as someone who's dabbled in 3D game development tools, some of these environments look very standard.
Very
generic, very standard, like just throw a rectangle in and put them together and make a wall.
Who is the dev team on this?
And I can't remember the dev team for this, Infinity or something like that, I want to say. I can't remember, honestly. But I don't recommend it, honestly. It's not that great. I'm looking for the name of the developer, and Phantom 8. Phantom 8. So it's not a developer we've ever heard of. It's an indie game, and you can tell it's an indie game. But it's not. I was not impressed with what I've played in that first hour or more. So I don't see myself going back to this because there's nothing intriguing about it. But let's move on to something that was intriguing, and I was actually very happy they did this. And Tico, I know you've played it as well.
I have.
Assassin's Creed Discovery Tour. So they've now added the Discovery Tour to Assassin's Creed Origins, where you can walk through as multiple different characters and just learn about ancient Egypt in many, many different categories. They've got daily life, they've got the Romans, they've got the pyramids, and it's really, really well done. And it is what it does to me more so than the stuff you're learning. what it showed me was how much detail went into the game to begin with. Because the stuff they're showing you, so let's put it this way, all of this stuff that you see and are learning about is in the game, even when you're playing the game itself. Okay? So they didn't just throw stuff in for the Discovery Tour. You're walking through the game itself and learning about ancient life, or in life in ancient Egypt. So as you go through, one of the tours is the mummification process. Okay? How mummies are made. And you're walking through this temple where mummies are made, and there are stations in the game with each process of the mummification. Each station of the mummification process.
Yeah, and it's all stuff that's there during the main game that you're moving too quick and running through and not really paying attention to this. And to be able to go through it slowly like this and sort of hear the voiceover and sort of see the, you know, as it pops up, the little pictures and stuff like that of where they got their inspiration for the pieces and stuff, it really shows you how much detail went into just creating like something that you run past in 4 seconds, or an area that you may not even walk into at all.
Yeah.
They put that much thought into that whole process.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I remember going through the temple where they're making the mummies in the game, and when I noticed it, I actually stopped in the game and watched. It's like, they're making mummies in this room, and I walked around, and sure enough, that's the area they take you through as you learn about the mummification process. It's so fascinating. You know, even my wife, who's not a gamer, sat down and watched me go through these tours, and she was like, this is really cool. You know, another nice thing, and I don't know, did you notice this, Tico, that during the tour there's actually interaction spots, right? There's these little spots on the ground that turn white as you walk past them, and if you step on them, your character actually interacts with the environment. So I was playing through, as I said, you can play through as different characters, so I actually switched to Cleopatra. And I noticed during the quarrying, when you learn about how they quarry the large blocks, I noticed there was an interaction spot. So I walked Cleopatra onto the interaction spot. She picked up a hammer. She looked at it for a second, and then eventually she started hammering the block like one of the workers. I'm like, this is good. Get to work, Cleopatra.
That totally would have happened.
Right? But that's what's cool about the interaction, or the Discovery Tours. They've added even these interaction points where you can actually watch your character do the stuff that you're seeing. Pottery. Last night I walked over to a pottery wheel. My character sat down and started making pottery during the pottery tour. So it was kind of cool that they've added these interaction spots.
It really feels like a History Channel voiceover type of thing too. Like, it really feels like you're just watching the History Channel as you play through this.
Oh, for sure. I mean, the game's gorgeous to begin with. Everything's there, you know. But it really, really shows how much detail and investigation and history that they went through to create the game to begin with, you know. Yeah. And I would have loved to see this kind of thing for the other games as well. Like, imagine the Italy, you know, the Italian Renaissance era, you know, with Ezio. Yeah. Imagine going through that. Imagine going through Assassin's Creed 3 and learning about the early colonies, you know, and all that stuff because all of the Assassin's Creed games have always been based in history. They've always done the research about what things were like back then, what was life like, how did the city look. It's like they literally recreate history in these games. They always have. And the Discovery Tour really shows that off. Really shows it off. So I'm really impressed.
I missed something here. Is this DLC? Is this?
It's free for everyone.
Can I just go get it right now, or is it like DLC for the game?
Oh no, it's for the game.
It's for the game. They apparently are going to be releasing it as a separate piece, but not for free.
As a standalone.
A standalone for $20 as an educational tool.
That's interesting. Oh yeah, because I heard they're going to want to put it in schools and stuff.
Yeah, so for $20, they're going to be releasing it as an educational tool as well. But if you own the game, it is available free for anybody who owns the game.
And I can totally see them being able to do that because when you launch Discovery Tour, you are launching it separate from the game itself, right? It's using the game world, but you're launching it separately from the game, right? Now, curious, Tico.
Yes.
You went through most of the tours. Which character did you go through as typically?
I I'm trying to think. I think I went through his Bayek for the most part.
of
Like
it?
so, once there's some new achievements attached to this stuff, so you have to cycle through 5 different characters. So finish 5 tours. So I went through.
Yeah.
That was the first thing I did, and then then to finish them off, I went through and went through the rest of his Bayek.
So on my video, you can see I'm going through as I can't remember. I think I want to say Sophia, the modern day character.
Yeah.
I can't remember her name because she's in it so little. Honestly, though, I don't know why they did the modern day part of this story because it really added nothing to the game.
But I forgot Assassin's Creed even had that.
Right? Yeah. But I went through as the modern day character because it's weird seeing her walk through. It almost feels like, as walking through as the modern day character, feels like I'm a tourist in Egypt.
It really does. It does. Like as you're walking through there as her, it really feels like
you're a tourist, right?
Like you're doing a. You're doing an actual, show on the History Channel.
Yeah, like you're walking through this virtual reality, and yeah,
you're the host.
Yeah, exactly. So, in other news, I have completed Assassin's Creed 100%. The first Assassin's Creed I've ever got 100% on. My third platinum trophy. So, yay for me. And on that note of finishing games, I also completed, finally, I went back after I completed Assassin's Creed, and I completed the DLC for Horizon Zero Dawn. 100%ed all the achievements for the Frozen Wilds, and I'm actually really sad that Horizon Zero Dawn is done. There's no more DLC coming. We have to wait for the second game, but you guys know how much I love the game, and I still do. After finishing Horizon Zero Dawn, the Frozen Wilds, finishing everything, it's just, the game is so amazing. And I'm actually sad it's
surprised.
Over,
Surprised they're not making any more DLC for that. That sold pretty well.
It sold really well, and the Frozen Wilds was very large in expansion. I think it took me about 20 to 25 hours extra to complete that DLC. But my understanding is they're moving on to work on the sequel. So
I wish BioWare would take note from all these expansions, from the Horizon Zero Dawn guys, from CD Projekt Red with their Witcher expansions. Do you remember how disappointing every Mass Effect DLC ever has been in terms of like content? It's $20 and it lasts 4 hours.
Yeah,
come on.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Chico, you've got a couple of games you want to talk about. Why don't you talk about? Let's talk about Rad Rogers.
Rad Rogers. So this is. It feels like a Commander Keen sort of like it harkens back to the days of like the 8-bit platformer type of games. But I
want to say this is like a modern day Mario style game, really.
It is platformer and stuff like that, but it really just the humor to it. You play as Rad Rogers, so you get sucked into your television, and you are wearing a walking. Well, not walking, but you are wearing on your back a video game console with attitude.
Yes. Oh, is that what he is?
He is the video game console. So.
I didn't realize that. I didn't know what he was. Well, okay.
Yeah. So each arm is a controller. With the controller and the wire. So he's in your backpack, so you get some extra fists and stuff like that, and he can help you climb certain areas. It has a very Duke Nukem-y sort of sense of humor. There's some swearing and stuff on it if you've turned the.
Yeah, they ask you if you're a child or an adult when the game starts.
Yeah. So there's some colorful commentary in it. It's basically just a random platformer. You've been sucked into a video game world, so you end up with a nice,
really good.
Yeah, very pretty game. You get a nice big gun to start off with.
It totally reminds me of the early era Duke Nukem, Commander Keen, I think Secret Agent.
Yeah.
Now, was another one from that
here's
era.
What's cool about Rad Rogers. There are areas in the game that are, how do we say, I guess, unfinished, Tico?
Glitched.
They're glitched. There are glitched areas in the game that go very pixely, almost like an 8-bit pixel. They go very pixely, and then you play as the console on his back who goes into the glitched area of the game to try to fix it so that...
To fix the glitch.
Yeah.
So the developer didn't finish the level, so you have to go into the glitch and pull out the assets needed in order to, for a platform so you can get up to the next area or something
exactly.
like that.
So it's a really cute, fun little... added thing to a platformer like this. I thought it's great. I mean, I didn't know what to expect from Rad Rogers, but I'm actually having a lot of fun with it. Why did you guys just disappear from the screen?
I do not know why we disappeared.
I think that's on you, Sean.
I think that's on you too. I can still see Tico.
Yeah, I still exist.
I don't know what's going on.
Oh no!
Are you back?
Nope.
Okay, just keep talking, guys. Keep talking.
Keep talking. Come on, Vamp. Vamp. He's coughing. Okay, so I'll continue to talk about this lovely game. No, it's a fun game. I enjoy it. It's it's a goofy little game, a nice little throwback.
No, I enjoy it. I thought it was really well done. That's Rad Rogers. It's available on PS4 and Xbox One.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to say before you go off this game, I really like the sound of it, the description, everything you're saying is amazing. I'm never gonna play it.
What? This seems exactly up your alley, Jeff.
No, it's really not because I don't play platformers. Platformers. But I love everything about it. If I did still play platform, I love how that save icon or checkpoint was a floppy disk.
It was a floppy disk.
Oh yeah.
The old 5.5 inch.
Yep.
Yeah, 5.5, 3 1/4. Yeah, 5.5 inch floppy disk. Like,
yeah.
There are many things that I love about this, and I loved Commander Keen, and I love that secret agent game that I can't remember the name of.
Yeah, and totally. If you enjoy platformers, and I know Sid Bolton loves platformers, this is a game worth checking out. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. Yeah, you definitely have to check it out. Yeah. And what else did you play, Chico?
And so this is just some DLC that came out for Injustice 2. The last set of the most current pack of fighters came out, which includes the Ninja Turtles.
Yes.
So, yeah, I saw that.
But unfortunately, you're playing as Leonardo, so you know.
Well, I couldn't figure out how to switch which turtle. Like you can be all of them.
No, you select I want to play as a Ninja Turtle, and then somehow during the match you can switch between all four, but you don't, like, on the character select screen, there's not all four turtles.
No, you just get one turtle. I don't know. I've been told that there was a way to select which turtle you wanted to be as, but yeah, it's Leonardo, and then like different moves will pull some of the turtles into.
But I want to play as Raph only.
You can play as Raph only somehow. But it's a mystery.
Like, it's got to be like some sort of Shang Tsung, like, button combo to turn your turtle into the different ones. I don't know. I haven't figured that out yet. It's a neat little piece of DLC to throw into the universe.
And didn't the turtles come with other characters as well, like Adam or?
So there's a pack. It's, I think, Adam, Enchantress, and the turtles are the most recent pack.
Okay.
So yeah, they like all of the fighter packs. So this is Fighter Pack 3, which this is the last piece of it. So Adam and Enchantress are the other two in that package.
Okay.
So
cool. Did you guys ever play TMNT Tournament Fighters on the Super Nintendo?
No.
I think I may have briefly, but not for very long.
I want to know if this is a better fighting game than that, and I haven't played this. So.
Oh, Injustice is a great fighting game.
Yeah.
I like the first one. I thought the first one was pretty boring. This looks better, but
it's a fun fighting game. I mean, it's got you got tons of characters you can play. Obviously, you can see Hellboy's in there. You got a whole bunch of the DC characters.
Yeah, I hate DC. That's the other thing.
Well, then, there's no point in playing it. Then it's a DC game. Yeah. That's what Injustice is. So
I know.
All right. Anyway, gents, we need to move on. Because we got tons and tons of news to talk about, right?
No.
No.
Sorry.
All right. No. Well, then let's move on to this instead.
Lost Treasures with your gaming archaeologist, Sid Bolton.
Growing up, I was a Commodore fan. I used the Commodore PET, owned a VIC-20, and then the amazing Commodore 64. I had access to all kinds of great video games. And still, there was always some things I saw on other platforms that I wanted. The game Alley Cat was one such thing. Produced originally on the Atari 8-bit computer from a concept by John Harris, Alley Cat became a fully fledged game from Synapse Software and was developed by Bill Williams, who would later make some of my other favorite games like Sinbad and the Throne of the Falcon and Mindwalker on the Commodore Amiga. Alley Cat can be a difficult game. You climb trash cans to windows and try to get into different rooms inside of a house. This is definitely a game that if you don't have the manual or understand what is going on, you will be lost, which is pretty clear from my gameplay shown here. Although I played this game many years ago, I forgot how some of it worked, and it's easy to get lost. Once you realize what you need to do, however, the game becomes a lot of fun. Just watch out for that pesky dog that keeps lingering around at the bottom of the screen. Alley Cat was eventually ported to the IBM PC as a booter, and subsequently the IBM PC Junior, and has somewhat of a cult following. It was a game that I looked forward to playing once I finally obtained an Atari computer. The goal of the game is to kiss the female cat, who is in a special room, at which point you gain an extra life. I thought that cats only had 9 lives. And then the difficulty gets harder and you have to start all over again. You can keep going indefinitely, but once the difficulty multiplier hits 30, it stays the same. Alley Cat is definitely one of the more interesting concepts for a video game, and one you should check out, which you can easily do with an emulator. There aren't too many games that made me want a new computer, but this one was definitely one of those games. Until next time, I'm Sid Bolton, your gaming archaeologist, digging up the lost treasures for you, right here on OMG Nexus and the OMG Hour.
All right, thank you, Sid, for doing another Lost Treasure. I have never heard of Alley Cat myself. I've never seen it, and yeah, it looked kind of strange. Anyway, gents, let's move on to the news. The very, very important news happened just last week, and I figured
going to be brief.
I would be remiss not to bring this up. But Horizon Zero Dawn won the Writers Guild Award, so you know, that's good. That's
yay! Groundbreaking news.
Well, do you have better news?
No,
over the last couple of weeks.
I am happy that the Writers Guild acknowledges video games. I mean, I think that there was a lot of kerfuffle about that a couple of years and years ago now, but it's nice to see.
Yes. Yep.
Writers Guilds recognizing.
I know
in games.
Uncharted has won in the past. I can't remember what the other titles were that won.
Yeah.
But this year the Writers Guild honored Horizon Zero Dawn. So Guerrilla Games, they've. I don't think we'll ever see Killzone again. That's
I don't
gone.
think that we need to play see Killzone again. I played the last Killzone, and it was. The difference between Killzone and Horizon Zero Dawn is striking. They're both very pretty games.
Yes.
Even Killzone was very pretty when it came out. I'm pretty sure it's a launch title.
It was, yes.
But you can tell where their passion lies pretty instantly once you play both games.
Yep, for sure. Yeah, so anyway, I wanted to bring that up, obviously, because, I don't like Horizon very much, so.
You only talk about it every week. What?
Well, why don't you talk about your favorite game? Have you been keeping up on Bungie news and Destiny news?
No, I don't even know. I'm so just sort of tuned out of that game while I'm waiting. They're making a bunch of changes. That's what I hear.
They are making changes, but apparently those changes have now been pushed back. They're not coming as soon. Yeah,
unacceptable.
Well, here's the thing.
Or acceptable.
I bring this up because I kind of look like. Listen, we love Destiny 2. We played it. When it first came out, we played it nonstop for a couple months. But honestly, there's been nothing lately that has made me want to go back to it. How do you feel about Destiny 2 right now, Jeff?
I sort of kept on with the slog. So I'm like 2 points off max light level. I kept playing. I kept checking gear. I still check in every week to see what Xur has. Just in case he's got something. Actually, I forgot to do it this past weekend, but whatever. I've played in most of the events. I totally skipped the Valentine's Day event because they had some sort of lovey-dovey doubles thing for PvP. Don't care. So I kind of feel like, for me, that I'm repeating the same content over and over again, and there's not a lot to look forward to. I'm basically playing right now so that eventually, one day, when something interesting happens,
you're ready.
I won't have to work so hard to be ready for it, right?
Yeah.
Whereas you're going to have to do the grind to
Yep.
get the gear, to get your light level up, but I'm going to be okay.
Yep.
So, I don't know. They've made a lot of changes. There's been a lot of feedback. There's been a lot of players dropping off this game. But there's still a lot of people playing. You know, a lot of people have been criticizing Bungie for a real big lack of content. Like, where we were at the end of Destiny 1 versus where we are now in Destiny 2, we lost a lot of stuff that we had. You know, everything from like giant content down to small things like trick sparrows. Why didn't we have trick sparrows day one in Destiny 2? Like, they're holding back a lot of content just for the sake of holding it back, it seems like, so that they can give it to us later. And the pace just isn't fast enough. So
yeah, well,
I don't know.
There hasn't been. Well, we've got one DLC, right?
And there's another one coming soon.
Yeah, but it just feels like when. I don't know. I haven't even finished the first DLC. That's how uninterested I am in Destiny 2 right now.
It was pretty short. It was a little bit underwhelming. It did add some end game activities for like collecting more loot. So there's this whole like, and I use this term incredibly loosely. There is a crafting table, which is not really any kind of crafting table you've ever seen. You're just collecting stuff, and then you go and you craft. You don't get to pick anyway. It's all just dumb. But you know, I think that Bungie, if we look at the history of Destiny 2 and Destiny 1, a lot of DLCs have been underwhelming. There's been more underwhelming DLC than there has been really good DLC, and even the really good DLC has never been great when you compare it to other games. And again, I'm going to say this again, Horizon Zero Dawn or The Witcher 3, with the scale of their DLC, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So, you know, we'll see. But a lot of people want some serious mechanics changes. A lot of people want some really, really, really big changes that I fear are going to take away from their ability to deliver new content, because the changes that people want are going to change the scope of what the game is. And that's always scary. As a programmer, that terrifies me. Like, when I go into the Destiny Reddit, which I still read every time I go into Reddit because I'm subscribed, I see people like, oh, wouldn't it be great if we could do this? And I'm like, oh my gosh, as a programmer, if you asked me to do that 6 months after I ship the product, and it's like a really core fundamental feature that impacts a million other things, I was like, no, I can't. Maybe next game, guys. Sorry. But you never know, I guess. So we'll see what Destiny or Bungie says.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know.
All of the feature upgrades they've been talking about recently, they have been pushed back, so who knows? I don't even think they've said when it's coming, so I don't know.
Yeah.
We shall see. Tico, you are our Xbox guy, so tell us what's coming for Xbox Games with Gold in March.
So, March 1st to the 31st is Trials of the Blood Dragon, which is...
What is that? What is that?
It's Far Cry. No. Well, Blood Dragon is the Far Cry stuff. Trials of the Blood Dragon is the Trials, which is the motorcycle stuff. So they jam those two things together, and it is a neat thing. It's sort of there's some running missions. There's some bike missions and stuff like that. It is a neat title.
That's a great way to describe Trials.
I saw Blood Dragon, and I just thought it was the Far Cry Blood Dragon.
Yeah.
Trials is a fun game for like an hour.
Yeah.
And then you're kind of done with it. Unless you really love Trials.
I like Trials.
Everybody can enjoy Trials until they hit that difficulty spike where they're like, it's not worth it.
Yeah, now you can't do it. So about like 7 to 10 levels in, when you just absolutely can't do it anymore and you want to throw your controller, that's about how much you're going to get out of this game. It's about 7 to 10 levels. The
best part of Trials is doing the first level over and over again and watching all your Xbox Live friends in their ghosts.
Yes.
And like trying to be in the front of this big giant pack of all your friends. But you can tell, like, the further you go, the less ghosts you're competing against.
Yep.
Yes.
First level in Trials is always the best.
The first one is fantastic. Then from the March 16th to April 15th is the title Super Hot.
It's okay.
Oh.
It's
Super hot. A lot of people really like that game.
Yeah.
And there's a VR version that I've been wondering about trying.
Yeah, I have Super Hot, and I have Super Hot VR. I haven't tried the VR one yet, but Super Hot, again, Super Hot was fun for a while until the difficulty spike moved.
Yeah,
and then it just became like Trials, where it's like, okay, I've had enough.
Yeah,
You know?
It's
it's
like,
a great
okay, I'm done with
concept.
it.
Basically, the bullets don't move unless you do, right? So if you stop, time stops when you stop, is the idea. So it's a great concept, but it gets really, really hard.
Yeah, it does. Then backwards compatible on the 360 and Xbox One, March 1st to 15th. You know, the be-all and end-all of all games, Disney's Brave.
Best game ever, right?
Yeah, best. Let's put it this way. This game is so fantastic, I have not actually played it.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Why?
Yeah.
Why give us Disney's Brave?
Yeah, it's such a weird title to throw in there at random.
All these games are random, though.
Yeah, nothing fits. There's no
Super
theme.
Hot and Trials are core gamer games. The majority of people that have Xbox Live Gold subscriptions, those are games that are targeted towards them, even though I don't think everybody's going to enjoy them. But Disney Brave? Really?
Yeah,
come on, man. We're paying for this. I hate this free game.
It's a weird title to throw in there. And then from the 16th to the 31st is Quantum Conundrum.
That is a game I wanted to like that game when it was released.
Oh, that was the game made by the girl who
Kim Swift
by the girl who made Portal.
Yes.
After she left Valve, she did Quantum Conundrum, and there was a whole bunch of big hubbub like, oh, the designer of Portal is doing this game, and then everybody was like, but it kind of sucks.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So,
but it's free now, so you can have all that suckitude for free.
Free with purchase.
Yes, free with purchase of your other crappy games.
Free.
Yes.
In March.
All right, so that is pretty much the news because what is going on?
News.
So listen,
quarter.
How much time do we have left? What do we got to fill?
We got like 10 minutes left, which is fine. We got stuff we can talk about. But I find it like, what is going on with gaming news? What is going on with the gaming industry? Where we went last week, we weren't here, and last week we were in the same boat where we don't know what the news was, so we're gonna have to discussion points. And then this week the same thing. We still really had nothing interesting to talk about. What is going on with the gaming industry right now?
How many years have we been doing this, Sean?
14.
We've been doing this for 6 years.
We've been doing this for 6 years. So we have some historical knowledge on trends in news cycles and stuff like that. And usually in February, we're talking about all the great new games that got pushed from the previous holiday season into the first quarter.
Yep.
So, Sean, tell me how many games are releasing that are awesome in the first quarter. Think of one.
Far Cry 5.
One, correct. Yeah. Okay. Anything else?
Hang
what about
on,
in Xbox land, Tico?
I'm looking. Wait, can I say Far Cry 5?
Well, it's for Xbox as well.
You won. We're still going to be at count one.
Right.
My point is, something has really changed.
Bravo team.
I don't know if that's AAA.
No, it's not.
I think that's just coming out because that's when it was coming out.
Sea of Thieves.
Chirp.
Okay, sorry.
Chirp.
Moving on.
Chirp.
Actually, there's people excited about Sea of Thieves, and if you've seen the Sea of Thieves
oh my gosh,
limited edition controller, I might buy that controller because
that is a nice looking controller. That is a nice looking controller.
I really like that controller.
Are they not going overboard with Sea of? They've not just got the controller, but they've got a controller charger.
What else are they going to sell? They've got nothing. They have nothing.
I'm looking in March right now. Burnout Paradise remastered, Assassin's Creed Rogue remastered.
Oh yeah, remastered games.
Titan Quest on the Xbox.
Remastered?
Could just be mastered. I don't know.
Port.
It's ported. You've got Devil May Cry HD Collection, Pure Farming 2018. There you go, Jeff.
Oh, beautiful.
Pure Farming 2018. We found the title. We found the big one.
So what is your point, Jeff?
To make is that whatever has changed, nobody's releasing games in Q1. Like with the exception of Ubisoft. You know, normally there's all sorts of games to pick from around this time, you know, because it was that game that missed the window, or like the games that are trying to get out of that holiday kerfuffle. And now there's nothing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I wonder if, like, what is the reason for that? Like, are companies doubling down on the games they released in the fall? Like, is EA really pushing Battlefront 2 like super hard in the marketing, which I don't see because I have ad block? Like, what's going on in the industry? You know, nobody's got anything. You know, Microsoft has nothing, EA has nothing, Activision has nothing, Sony has nothing, Nintendo has nothing. Why?
Yeah.
Like, this is usually where we are midsummer, where we're sitting around going, all right, guys, we have nothing to talk about. This is not the Q1 spring.
No. See, and you kind of...
In fact...
Sorry.
I just let me finish one last thought. In fact, you know, so there's a little bit of an exception here because I'm getting that Bravo team. I want to get Bravo team, and I want to get Far Cry 5. But what am I looking forward to? I have literally no idea what is coming.
Yeah.
And I think that they're really like no more 2-year announcements. I think we're on 1-year announcements now. So we're going to know what's going to come out in this year, because I don't even know what fall looks like. And normally we have an inkling of an idea about what's going to be in the fall.
Some games, yeah. Where we're just going to see announcements and, 3 months out.
3-4 month marketing cycle. It's cheaper and it's probably just as effective.
Yeah.
And you think we have it bad? We don't get paid to do this. We do this once a week. All those poor guys, IGN and the GameSpots and the Polygons, they're boned.
Yeah. Well, that's why what was a news article I found today was how to clean your console. That is the kind of news we're getting. Like, what? This is what they're resorting to now because there's nothing else to talk about. You know, it's oh my gosh. Now you brought up a good point of like everything. It's weird that we're not talking about anything, but at the same time, we are now 5 years into this life cycle. Can you believe it's this year?
Oh yeah,
is 5 years for the PS4. In fact, as of yesterday or 2 days ago, the February 20th, was 5 years since the PS4 was announced, right? And it was released at the end of the year. Okay, so we're coming up 5 years. Does it even feel like with the cycle we're in right now? I look back, I'm like, are you serious? It's been 5 years. We've had 5 years of games for these consoles. It doesn't feel like it. I don't feel like the consoles are 5 years mature.
No.
Right? Because usually at 5 years is when we start hearing stuff about the next generation or what the next thing is going to be. Right? I don't even think we're there yet.
No, I don't think so either.
We're not,
no, I think we're still a ways away.
I'm not ready to hear about what the next console is going to be, whatever it's... And it's like, but wait a minute, we're at 5 years. I mean, 10 years ago, 5 years was the life cycle of a console.
Yeah.
Right?
Was 7 years for the 360 and PS3?
No, 7 or 8. 7 to 8, but then they lasted about 10 each because there was overlap. But yeah. But still, by the 5 year point, we started hearing the rumors of the Xbox One.
Yeah.
Right? I don't think we're in a position where we're ready to hear about the rumors of whatever the next Xbox is, or even what is the next console going to be. Right? Are they really going to stick to this platform of just upgrading the Xbox One? Right? Giving new versions of the Xbox One? Is that really where it's going to go? Like, I kind of wonder. Like, maybe that's why we're hearing nothing, because maybe next year or the year after we'll get the Xbox One XS or something. I don't know. Like, is that where our consoles are going?
I think that is where you are going to start seeing these go, because it's a lot easier for them to drop these smaller things and justify, like, oh, well, this one here, but now with, 9K resolution and stuff like that. It's a lot easier for them to justify that smaller upgrade than here's a $700 machine that you're going to need a brand new machine for. Like, it's a whole new thing. So I think that they're trying to make it easier to force people into upgrading little bits at a time.
Have we reached the point where the processors are not advancing fast enough, so there's really nowhere else to go processing-wise, and we're just looking at getting better looking graphics. Are we at that point where games really are only going to get better graphically? So there's really nowhere else to go? Other than technology-wise with maybe streaming games, like a Netflix thing, having a set-top box where you play games. Like, is that where we're going? Is that, like, are we going technology-wise where we don't have a console anymore, we just have a box and we're streaming games and all the computing is done in the cloud, but has the technology and the power of games stagnated?
I don't think we've pushed the current generation of consoles to their breaking point yet. I think that's part of the problem is they haven't been pushed to their limits. You can still get stuff out of what they've got. I think developers haven't pushed them that far yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeff's thinking his mind is
I'm thinking,
running.
well, there's plenty more. For me, it's like this weird gray zone because there's plenty more room for games to grow graphically and physics-based and story and world building and all that kind of stuff if we had more power. You know, I look at a game like the fabled freaking Star Citizen, which laughs at our pathetically powered consoles, right? Because it requires so much power in order to run that game, where there's full simulations and full worlds and all that kind of stuff, you know, and huge explorable areas and tons of characters and animations and just incredibly detailed models and stuff like that. And our consoles right now are nowhere near being able to push that kind of power. And then I think about all the stuff that I was saying that I wanted the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One to do that they're still not doing, you know, like crowd simulation that the 360 was doing, and like Cameo that sort of like petered off. And, you know, a couple of games like Assassin's Creed has always been good for crowd simulation, but that's like the only one. And, you know, I think about, we've got what we ended up with 5 years later is better looking versions of 360 games.
Yes.
Better
lit. And lots of remasters.
And tons of remasters, right? So, and the other part of that, though, is that games like Star Citizen are multiple hundreds of millions of dollar investment titles, which you do not see, right? And you don't need that for the most part anyway, because you look at games like the aforementioned Horizon Zero Dawn, which are beautiful enough. They're beautiful in their own right, but like, would additional graphic power really help that stuff out? Like, it's games are looking so good now that we're approaching the point of maybe where the return on investment isn't good enough. You know, maybe we can just do all that. Games have to stop becoming so expensive. And then the other aspect of all of that is like the market is changing, where, you know, I've read the other day that Activision made more from microtransactions than they did from selling actual games. Oh, that would have been a great thing to put in the news. I
never saw that.
So, you know, the whole ecosystem is really, really changing right now. And, you know, I don't think that more power is necessarily what we're going to need. So the last gen went 7 years before we had replacements. Maybe this is the one where we go 10, you know, maybe there's the Xbox One X, and then they're going to have I don't know what they're going to do, but like they'll bump up the littler one so it's as powerful as the X, then they'll have the X2, Xbox One X2. Like, I don't know.
One X2?
I have no idea.
Right. That's right.
This generation is not shaping out how I expected it to, and I don't want to peer into my crystal ball too much, because I think there's a lot of things that not a lot of people understand about the business that's changing. I
mean, and we'll end on this because we're well over our hour, but I do feel that this generation doesn't feel old. Like, where it used to be that 5 years...
I think we got a lot of room to grow still.
Yes, exactly. I still feel like we're just beginning. I don't feel like, wow, like, holy cow, 5 years? No, it doesn't feel like it. It feels like
I'm
this
gonna
generation hasn't really even started yet.
I'm kind of feel like I'm still waiting
Yes.
for it, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I was promised a lot of things. I don't know if I'm getting there. Some games have sort of have reached a little further than the previous generation, you know. There's been some really amazing like looking games like Battlefront 2. That game is jaw-droppingly gorgeous.
Yep.
But then a lot of other games sort of missed the mark a little bit, you know, and sort of didn't reach as far as what we thought they would.
Yeah,
you know?
agreed.
So
agreed.
We'll see.
All right. Well, that brings us to the end of episode number 286. I want to thank everybody for listening. Thanks for watching. I wasn't able to give a shout out to JJ because he was on as well. And JJ asked us a question, which maybe we'll write it down, JJ, and we'll talk about it next week. But food for thought. Jeff, would you say that most VR games are still glorified tech demos?
Yeah.
So, okay, short answer, yeah.
Well,
They're either tech demos or they're just bad.
Yeah.
Like, there's been a few that have been genuinely good. Like,
there have been
Office
a few.
Simulator. Office Simulator was a genuinely super fun game, but
they still just feel like experiments.
Still waiting.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting for a great VR game, and we haven't had it yet.
Yeah, agreed. All right, Tico, take us out.
All right. You can follow me on Twitter at Mr. Second Place. That's all I say. That's it.
That's your only thing.
Yeah, no, I didn't have the show notes open.
Jeff,
okay,
come on.
You can follow me on Twitter because that's totally a good use of your time. At Sinix, SINNIX. And of course, if you're watching us on the YouTube, please like the video. It helps a lot, and we need lots of likes. Subscribe to the channel and leave a comment. Tell us what you think. Are you impressed with this generation so far, knowing that we're 5 years into a potential 7-year life cycle
or more?
Let us know what you think.
Yeah. Of course, I am Ziantane. That is XIANTAYNE. You can follow the show on Twitter at the OMG Hour. Our gaming archaeologist is Sid Bolton. Follow him on Twitter at Sid Bolton, and Sid is with a Y. And of course, check out the show notes. Links to the tons of news we just talked about is at omgnexus.com, and on Twitter that is omgnexus. And Jeff has one more thing to say.
You know what? Another thing we should probably add to this list of things is that if you're watching the show later, come watch us Thursday, 6 p.m. Eastern, because we're pretty good at recording at this time almost every week.
Most of the time.
Most of the time. It's Thursdays,
6 p.m.
6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time.
Streaming live on the YouTubes.
Come on down, chat with us while we do the show. We'd love to hear from you.
bit.ly/the-OMG Hour. Check it out. All right. Thanks, everybody. We'll talk to you later. We'll be back again next week.
Good night, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
This has been an OMGNexus.com production.